kind of town Schenectady is. Baby, my kind of town Schenectady is. Luck be a lady tonight. Luck be a lady tonight. Luck if you've ever been a lady to begin with. Luck be a lady tonight. Right here, Sax Studio, oh yeah. Luck let a gentleman see how nice a dame you can be. I know the way you treated those other guys you've been with. Luck be a lady with me. Oh yeah. Lady, she don't leave her escort. It ain't fair and baby it ain't nice. Lady doesn't wander all over the room and blow. And another guy's dice ain't gonna happen. So let's keep this party polite. Never get out of my sight. Stick with me, baby. I'm the guy that you came in with. Luck be a lady. Luck be a lady. Luck be a lady. Tonight. Luck be a lady right here tonight. Thank you. Okay, hello ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to The Beat Goes On with Joe Sinatra. And boy, are there drums beating on the Mohawk right now. I'm very happy to be here today with my lovely co-host Sharon Hales. And we're here hosting a guy that has done so much for Schenectady. February 8th, he is going to signal, I like to call it the flagship of Schenectady, the Rivers Casino. Without further ado, CCO for Galisi, Mr. Dave Buicko. How you doing, Dave?
Good, thank you, Joe and Sharon. That's very nice to have us here today in this new reinvigorated facility at Viaport. It's another asset for our community.
So make us warm and fuzzy, Dave. Quick, what are we going to experience in this harbor? You don't have to do everything.
Well, it's one that we say basically this is probably one of the most sophisticated mixed-use projects in New York State. Literally, it's a place where people can eat, work, play, and sleep. So you don't really have to leave there, but we've created a live, work, play, eat environment. Today, we just announced Druthers Brewery is going to open an 8,000 square foot facility. Our first tenant in the retail under the apartments called the River House. Those are 206 apartment units. We're leasing those as we speak. Channel 6 did a nice feature on us a couple of weeks ago, and phones started lighting up in terms of people putting deposits down. But Druthers kind of an interesting one. We've had a couple national people look at us to come in, but we wanted to deal with local. They're in Saratoga, very successful. Mm-hmm. Albany, very successful. And we know they're going to be very successful here because they're going to be on the harbor. They're going to have a nice promenade to be able to do fire pits, outside eating areas. They're doing their own brewery. And it's kind of an interesting one. Today's graduating class from Schenectady Community College has 15 graduates in their craft beer program. So it's just very coincidental that that's happening. But they're going to do the brewery. They're going to have to make their own beer there, as well as complementing the other breweries and distilleries in the Schenectady region. So it's pretty exciting. They think it's awesome. We showed it to a variety of people, but we wanted people that had a good reputation. And it's one that you got to remember, you're going to have 1,100 people working at the casino. And they're going to need venues for them to go. They're not going to, if you're working at the casino, you're not going to go have drinks and eat at the casino. You're going to want to have things outside. Plus, you're going to have 300 plus people living above you. We're going to have other restaurants. We're going to have workout areas. Then you've got the 2 office buildings we're building right across the street. The Marriott Courtyard needs a food venue. And then we're going to be doing townhouses that are going to be done this late summer, early fall.
Awesome.
Great. Wonderful.
Sharon Hales here, my lovely co-host, has some things she'd like to ask you, some questions. So go ahead, Sharon.
Well, first I'd like to take a moment and welcome you here. And we are so pleased and privileged to have you with us today. I wanted to cover a couple of points. Since the casino's inception, Schenectady has certainly been thrilled, and we've been all abuzz and talking about it all the time.
99% of the people.
Yes. How has this project benefited the people and businesses of this community in creating jobs and possible educational opportunities?
Well, it's a pretty broad question, but you got to remember, Schenectady's started their renaissance about 15 years ago with some of the things happening in downtown, and we invested over $150 million in downtown. But when the casino sweepstakes came, a lot of people didn't give us a chance. We were doing the northern part, as you can see by the images. We were doing the northern part with the apartments, with the townhouses, with the hotel, with the office building anyway, and we had a blank piece of 30 acres. And back in 2013, when the governor, we had a referendum, they allowed 4 non-Indian casinos. Sort of people thought we were the long shot contender. Mm-hmm. And we picked up a partner, Rush Street Gaming, that is actually a real estate developer first. So they sort of fit our mold that we're real estate developers, and we sort of bonded pretty well in terms of creating a community that integrated into what's going on at the rest of the city. If you look at all our development here, we're doing things to complement what's already done in downtown. Mm-hmm. We're doing things that really will not compete, will work with Proctor's. And actually Proctor's was one of the main reasons too for coming, because they didn't have to build an entertainment venue like the other casinos. So we can drive people to Proctor's. If you just saw one of the nice announcements just recently is the CDTA and Metroplex is going to do a downtown shuttle with 2 trolleys running Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So you're going to be connecting the harbor to downtown and vice versa. So we want people to go both ways.
And there's no charge from what I hear.
It's free. CDTA is subsidizing it, Metroplex is, and we're going to be reaching out to the business community to help subsidize it so that we can continue to have this. Saratoga has it right now. So we're going to have 2 shuttles, 2 trolleys, and the people at CDTA have been terrific to work with. The casino employees are getting their bus service paid for by the casino, so they ride for free as well. But to get specifically to your question, first and foremost, this adds to the tax base of our community. We got to remember, we've got a very, very high tax rate because we don't get enough state aid in terms of our school district, according to the formula. I mean, if we were according to the formula, we'd end up with about $60 million more in taxes. We don't do that. We have the largest school district in the capital region, and we have a minority as majority. So it takes a lot more to educate inner city kids. Mm-hmm. The programs, the special needs, et cetera, are important. So having the casino here, having Mohawk Harbor here, the casino, forget property taxes for a sec. The license fees that we already received were significant, $5 million to the city and $5 million to the county. And then you ended up with mortgage recording tax, another $1 million. Then you ended up with the casino gaming tax, which will approximate $4.2 million each to the city and the county. And that's per annum. Add that on top of the property taxes, so you can see the economic impact just on taxes alone. The mayor's been very conservative, and he's done a nice job in reducing taxes, 4%. One of the things that people don't understand in terms of reducing taxes is, if you reduce it too far, we have a state tax cap, so you can only increase it by 2%. So if you went down 10% right off the bat, and something happens, you had to raise it, you're raising it 2% on a lower tax base. So it's better to gradually reduce it, and when all these taxes kick in 18 and 19,
point.
then you can start doing that. So that's one on the taxes. Two is, you gotta remember, that's one of our entrances to the city. It's a back door in some ways. It's coming from Glenville, it's coming from Ballston Spa, it's coming from Saratoga, it's coming from Clifton Park, it's coming from Niskuna. And everybody drove by an abandoned factory. And think about it, all this nice stuff downtown, with the stuff that GE's doing, GE R&D in Niskuna, Environment One, Schenectady International, all that stuff's nice, but then you run down and you got a mile of riverfront that was 1.5 million square feet of ugly. We had vagrants living there, it was falling down, it was a safety hazard, and that, I mean, you're driving into Schenectady, so think about it. If you wanted to go up to Saratoga to the races, you'd look on your left and you got an abandoned factory.
I just want to put one quick question in, that you bring that up with.
It was her turn. I didn't answer all her questions yet.
I know I'm a Budinsky, but this is, everybody asked me this, and then we'll go back. What about the steel plant? Are they gonna relocate? Everybody says they got that ugly steel plant next to the casino. Are they gonna stay there, or are you gonna?
Well, I wouldn't call it ugly at that time when
I'm
they.
just telling what I heard, that's all.
Well, at that time when they located there, nothing else was going on there.
Okay.
They've got 60 employees there.
Okay.
Previous economic development team recruited them because it was any port in a storm.
Okay.
Now, are they zoned for it now? No. They're nice people. They've got 60 employees there. Would I like to have them there? Absolutely not. But whatever happens. We've recognized their right to be there. They've got a factory there. They've got a steel yard. Hopefully we can dress it up around a little bit and disguise it. But when you really go through the site now, your eyes are not, they're gravitated towards the casino and the rest of the development. And maybe it's me, but I sort of don't pay attention to it as much anymore.
Okay.
But it's a talking point. You gotta remember, real people have real jobs there.
Yes.
And they've got a nice business.
Very good.
And from that standpoint, we're gonna work with them as neighbors. We've told them consistently, we're going to work around them, work with them. We've helped them pave and subsidizes paving some of their facilities. Hopefully they'll paint some of the building up and some of the crane trestles up there, but we'll see what happens. But it's there.
Okay.
But to finish up, now you have 1,100 people that have jobs. It's pretty cool.
Yes, it is.
And these are jobs that, are they the highest paying jobs? No. Are they the lowest paying jobs? No. But they do give 401k, they give health insurance. A lot of these people coming here have never had health insurance in their lives. So we're taking them off the public support system and getting them on to privatize. They also have meals that are very inexpensive. I mean, you can buy a meal for $3 there in the team. They call it team dining room. Everybody's a team member. They're not employees, they're team members. So from that standpoint, you're changing people's lives. They have free public transportation if they want to go. Now the toughest part, in all honesty, is finding, with unemployment at 4.1% or 4.2, whatever it is here, you're in full employment. So to hire people and hire 1,000 people, 1,100 people, when you're in full employment, it's a challenge. And the same thing, you don't have a lot of experience. This is not a major city where you have other casinos you can cherry pick from. So you've got a lot of new people working here. I'm sure as much as the place is spectacular, and when you come and see it next week, it is going to far exceed anybody's imagination inside. It's hard to believe you're on upstate New York, let alone Schenectady. But we've taken advantage of the river. So it's cleaned up the whole property. It's property taxes, sales taxes, 2 new hotels, so you got bed tax. Now we can go after our proctors, we can go after tourism, we can go after conventions, we can go after meetings. You're going to find the dynamics in New York State and the capital region change a little more focused to Schenectady. You're tied into the bike trail. You can take a bike to go to Rochester for that matter. You can go to Buffalo. You can take a bike and go to Albany. We've got a 50-plus boat slip, so you're going to have people using that. It's a nice stretch of river between locks. Mm-hmm. So it's not just about a casino. And I think that's why we got the award. We got the award because it was an integrated development. It wasn't just about gambling. And you're going to find people going there that are going to just go to the bars and restaurants and not gamble, but just enjoy the ambiance. It's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did, and you have in part answered my second question about taxes. And what will be the long-term positive outcome and effects of the taxes on the community?
Oh, it should result in two things. One, it should result in tax reductions right across the board. A. Two, sales tax will increase, which in turn increases the revenue for Metroplex, who can reinvest into other projects. People complain a little bit about Metroplex that are outside Schenectady, not inside, but certain radio announcers and things like that say it's public subsidy. But guess what? We as a community are paying sales tax. It's our money that's reinvested. So I think that's a great way for economic development to happen. Other communities have sales taxes which are the same or higher than Schenectady. They're just using that to balance their budget. We're using that to promote economic development. And if you really take a look, if you're investing in projects, all of a sudden they happen, you get increased sales tax, you get increased property taxes, and you get people living, working, and spending here. So that thing works. So it's kind of an interesting one. Somebody said, what happens if the casino goes out of business? Well, it's never going to go out of business. Nothing that we've been involved with will ever go out of business, and we've got great partners with deep pockets, and they won't go out of business either. But the hypothetical, guess what? You've got a brand new building and a hotel that's on the tax rolls versus abandoned factories. Where's your downside on that?
There isn't.
The nice part about things too, that everybody's worked together phenomenally well. If you really take a look, and even happening today, you'll see Knott is almost done. They're making that 4-lane. We had the railroad come in. Chris Wallen from the city of Schenectady did a heck of a job in working with the railroad to make it a 4-lane road so that people coming from Golub, from Ellis, from Union College, etc., now are going to accessing the circle, coming in 4 lanes, and I think they're going to be done by Friday, we hope. And then you've got the new circle that is actually working very well, and you've got Erie Boulevard that's going to be happening. The stretch from Union Street to the circle is going to be done this spring. The money's there. Chris Wallen and the city did a nice job getting that, so it'll look like the balance of Erie Boulevard. And then you've got the Rexford Bridge that's happening. So that's going to be 4 lanes, and that was a major blockage coming into our community from the Clifton Park and Saratoga area. So you've got all the major roads. 890 just got redone in terms of that new exit. Erie Boulevard's done almost. You got a new train station going in. Everything is falling into place even better than I would have ever anticipated.
Awesome.
So thank you. Sounds like a win-win situation.
Oh, yeah.
We won. We won, but we won. It was probably when we got the award, or at least the designation. It was like New Year's Eve in Schenectady. Everybody was over at Johnny's. It was the excitement and the vibrancy and the community spirit of everybody feeling that Schenectady's on top of its game. We had the governor come in.
Practice, yeah.
It was really exciting. I mean, that I was on crutches. I tore my Achilles at the time, but it was still, I was able to still jump up and down when we sort of won the award.
Thank you, Sharon, very much again.
You're welcome.
Those are great questions. Another thing about the casino you bring up, which I like, it's not just the casino. This harbor has so many things in there, bike paths, things families can do together. It's not just going in and hitting a slot machine, entertainment, a lot of restaurants.
They don't do that slots anymore. I think they press a button now.
Oh, it's all
I'm not a slot player, but I think everything's all, there's no pulling the lever down. I think it's pushing a button.
Well, I used to be a big come on with pulling that lever, I'll tell you. But what other things, I mean, you mentioned a lot already, but man, you drive in there, you're going to see beautiful condos, townhouses, apartments. Is there going to be any stores, retail stores in there?
We're going to announce one.
Okay.
Hopefully in the next 30 days or so.
You gonna give us a little bling on that, Davey?
No.
Okay.
I don't jinx myself. When we announced Druthers today, we made sure we had the deal done.
Okay.
The one thing I've learned, and we own 12 million square feet of space of real estate.
Yes.
We never announce anything until it's a done deal for 2 reasons. One is I don't want to give our competition the opportunity to spoil a deal.
Very good.
And 2, I'm superstitious.
Excellent.
But it's great retail space. Once people come in, once this casino's open up on next Wednesday, people are going to come in and say, wow, look at all these opportunities. I think there's places that we need women's clothing. I think there's places we need men's clothing. I think there's a variety of other retail needs that we don't have in the city of Schenectady right now. It's very difficult. And the dynamics are changing too. People aren't going to malls as much as they used to anymore. You're seeing like Ann Taylor just
That's
closed in
true.
Crossgates. So if we can get some boutiques, our phase two, if you look at it to the right there, where that'll be our phase two on the west side, we can do retail, we can do office, we can do condos. Townhouses on the down at the northern side are going to be really cool. Those are 15 units, 3 levels, right on the river, underground parking. It's one of those where I'm thinking long and hard whether I want to get rid of my house in Golden and come live there myself. But we've got a lot
I'm
of.
thinking about it, I'm telling you. You know that.
It's beautiful, and the other is you've got office space, and so we're going to do about 100,000 square feet of office space. We've got retail below the office space as well, so you're going to have some different food opportunities as well, but also retail. I mean, even services like a bank, dry cleaners, things like that are going to happen too. So all these things will fit in, and we're keeping phase two a little bit fluid because you never lead with condos first, because you create a market for condos. So we're doing apartments and we're doing townhouses, which are actually taxed as condos, so they have a lot lower property taxes than regular
That's
houses.
big.
And the apartments, this is going to be the coolest place to live in the capital region. I mean, there is not going to be a nicer product that anybody can live in. We own apartments, and we're building some nice ones in Glens Falls. We built some nice ones in Saratoga. But for the millennials, and you got to remember, we have the largest private sector employers here in the region. You got GE, you got GE R&D, you got Schenectady International, you got MVP, you got
Transfinder
Golub,
now too.
Transfinder, Ellis Hospital, Union College, Environment One, Knowles Atomic Labs, Bechtel. Think about that. And you're finding a lot of these people that move in from out of the area like Dallas, North Carolina, Atlanta. They want cool places to live. They don't necessarily, because there's a very transient society. My son who works for ExxonMobil, he just got a promotion. He was there 3 years. Now he's got to move from Houston to Fort Worth, and he just bought a house. So it's like one of
Could be
those
in the
things.
president's cabinet, you never know.
You know what? He'd be good at it, but a little too young yet on that one. But we're aiming at those people. Right now, a lot of them drive up to Saratoga to live because it's a very nice venue. But think about it. We've got people on our team that live in Saratoga. It's a 45-minute drive back and forth. So on a 5-day a week, you're picking up, look at us, 7.5 hours of your life.
Yes.
And the car, the gas, possibility for accidents, things like that. So we're going to change. But even bigger, with this resurrection and reinvigoration of Schenectady has been happening before the casino. You walk into Johnny's, which I see you there maybe once, maybe even twice.
Once a month. Maybe.
But there's people from Loudonville, there's people from Niskuna, there's people from Altamont. We're getting people. I was there Saturday night. They turned away over 100 people. It was 3 deep at the bar and the restaurant, and had a lot of vibrancy. I'm sure that happens at Zen and Mexican Radio and Aperitivo and Firestone 151 and Penette Susan's and Clinton's Ditch, and you can go right across the board. Yeah. We've got the new Doubletree. So now we're going to have the Hampton, the Doubletree, the Stockade Inn, the Water's Edge is doing the Homewood Suites, and we're doing 2 hotels right at the harbor. So we're able to go after conventions and meetings that in the past, Proctor's, for instance, when they just filmed Something Rotten, they used to have their people stay on Wolf Road. Guess what? They stayed at the Marriott here.
Dave, I want to get one more thing in, because I know you're very busy, and we appreciate your time doing this for us. It's been fantastic. My lovely co-host Sharon Hales has been a ballroom dancer for over 20 years. And she's got some questions she may want to ask you pertaining to that realm of entertainment.
I can't dance.
I can't either, so you know how tough it is.
I can do a polka. I'm part Polish, so I can do a mean polka. That's about it.
Well, my question would be and as you know, I am a member of the ballroom dance community, and it extends pretty much over the Tri-City area.
Oh.
And it has a very huge membership.
I was never asked to join.
And My question is, the venues that will be in the casino and the hotels, would it be accommodating for huge dancing events?
Oh, absolutely. Let me tell you, the event center, as we call it, is the nicest facility in the capital region. It is over 10,000 square feet with another 3,000
Nice.
square feet of pre-function and a courtyard, actually, that we're able to tent over as well. So you can end up with, for instance, a sit-down dinner with a stage and dancing, could be 650 people. In the room, pre-function, you can spill into that. We've got outdoor patios overlooking the river that are spectacular. The venue is, I mean, the lighting, the acoustics, the video screens. It is the nicest place to have a wedding, a gala, a ballroom dancing. We've got these doors that go up, and you can even have car shows in there. I mean, it's that you can have. But all the things we want to do, we don't want to compete with Proctor's.
Right.
It can be broken down into 5 different segments too. So they've got the walls in place that you can end up having smaller rooms. You can have larger galas. But right now, there are very few venues. I mean, there's a new convention center going to be in Albany, which will be very nice, I'm sure. They can handle 1,000 people. But this is one where if you have events, think about it. You've got the 2 hotels right there. You've got the restaurants, the 5 venues in the casino. But this meeting space, when you see it next week, is going to really sweep you off your feet, to use a dance term.
So it sounds as though you could.
You didn't even laugh at that.
Oh, I was, believe me.
It sounds as though you could have multiple dancing events going on at the same time.
Oh, absolutely. You can break it all
The
up.
Dance Flurry has a number of dancing events that go on throughout the day at different, venues in Saratoga. So it
Oh,
would
absolutely.
seem to me.
It's broken down, I mean, the 5 different venues, so I think the configurations, people at the casino will be able to do that. And Malozzi's is running all the food and beverage, so it's going to be good, and you know how they know they were able to handle large banquets, etc. But if you wanted, you could have your cha-cha in one room and your waltz in the other, and whatever else you can do the tango.
Well, maybe Sharon can do it.
You're not going to do that on your sore foot today.
They're gonna have a bakery in there too, aren't they?
Well, the
the
venues are terrific, and I've walked through there as recently as today. So there's going to be a beautiful steakhouse called Duke's Chop House. Duke's is named after our first employee, Tony DiLorenzo.
Wow.
His nickname was the Duke, and he was one of the nicest individuals I've ever met in my life. He died in 2007 at 89 years old. Worked our longest employee, so we named it. We've got pictures of him as well as all historical pictures scattered throughout the place, and it's a very good upscale, reasonably priced steakhouse too. Then we've got a marketplace which is beautiful. It's got common seating, but you've got Mian, which is an Asian themed restaurant. You've got a Johnny's, we call it Johnny's To Go, which is a smaller version of Johnny's that has their very limited menu, but the stuff that sells, the chicken parmesan, lasagna, meatballs, the things, greens and beans, the things that they're selling. So they've got that there. You've got a Villa Italia there, a smaller version of Villa Italia. And then you've got Flips, which is a grill for sandwiches, burgers, and things like that, personal pizzas and that. Then you've got an entertainment lounge and bar that's really cool. It's designed to make it look like an old factory. You've got rebar there, you've got the factory windows, you've got the open ceilings, and that's called Van Slyck's. And Van Slyck was one of the founders of Schenectady way back. He actually came in, people used to, now they changed actually the name to Van Slyck, but it's really Van Slyck, it's a Dutch person. So Greg Carlin, the CEO of Rush Street, researched Schenectady's heritage, because we got some criticism that says, oh, your outside doesn't look like Schenectady.
Wow.
But when you go inside the steakhouse with all the pictures from the Historical Society and Van Slyck's, which is really cool, and we've got a stage for small entertainment venues. It's not going to be big because we don't want to compete with Proctor's. So those are the venues, and then we've got a spa, day spa, so where you can get makeup, blow dry, massage, all that type of stuff. And actually they serve tequila and champagne in there too.
Oh,
Wonderful.
So
Dave, I want to thank you again I know you're very busy, for coming and did a great job giving us another info what we're going to snatch.
It's exciting. You got to feel the passion.
Warm and fuzzy, that's what I want everybody to feel. Sharon, thank you so much for hosting with me. You
You're
gave
very
Dave some
welcome,
good
Joe.
questions, and what can I say? Thank you for another edition of The Beat Goes On with Joe Sinatra in Schenectady, right here at the beautiful new Sac Studios, Viaport. Come on down and see us.
Terrific. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you
Joe.
for being
Thank you.
with us today.